I still remember the exact moment my world cracked open. It wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. It didn't come with thunder or some sudden explosion like in the movies. No, my life fell apart quietly, like a glass slipping from your hand and shattering before you even realize you dropped it. Her name was Mia. For 2 years, she was the center of my life, the girl I woke up thinking about and the girl I went to sleep dreaming of. She made me believe we were building something real. Something meant to last. I worked long hours at a small repair shop just so I could take care of us. Dirty hands, aching back, oil stains on my clothes, I didn't care. I believed love was worth it. I believed she was worth it. I used to picture our future every day. A small apartment we'd decorate together. A wedding someday, maybe. A kid or two if life was kind. I imagined Mia smiling at me across a dinner table while I talked about work, or leaning her head on my shoulder during a quiet evening. Those thoughts kept me going when the job got hard or when money felt too tight to breathe. But I guess dreams don't matter when someone decides they want something else. Or someone else. I should have noticed the signs earlier. The way she started dressing up more when she went out with friends. The way she spent more time staring at her phone than talking to me. The way she avoided looking into my eyes when I asked if everything was okay. But I trusted her so much that I ignored all of it. One day, the day, she texted me to meet her behind the cafe near her college. It was late afternoon, the sky a dull gray, the kind that made the whole world feel tired. I rushed over right after closing the shop, still smelling like engine grease. I didn't even wash up or change. I thought maybe she wanted to apologize for acting distant. Maybe she wanted to spend time together. I didn't expect what was waiting for me. Mia stood there with her arms crossed, wearing a shiny new handbag I'd never seen before. Then I noticed the tall man standing beside her. His suit looked more expensive than my monthly rent. His shoes probably cost more than everything I owned. And his car, a sleek black luxury model, was parked right behind them. He had one hand in his pocket and the other resting casually on his car door, like he owned the ground he was standing on. His eyes carried this cold confidence that made my stomach twist. He didn't look at me like I was a person, more like an ant that accidentally crawled into his space. I forced a smile anyway. "Hey, Mia. Are you okay? You wanted to talk?" She didn't smile back. She didn't even pretend. Her lips were flat, her eyes empty. She looked at me in a way she never had before, like I was a stranger she didn't want to be seen with. "I'm leaving you," she said. Just like that. No warning. No softness. No explanation. At first, I thought it was some kind of joke. My heart dropped straight into my stomach, like someone punched me from the inside. I felt the air push out of my lungs. I took a step forward, confused. "What? Mia, what are you talking about?" She shook her head slowly, almost annoyed that I didn't understand already. "I said I'm leaving you. I can't keep living like this. I deserve better. Better." That word stabbed me. It wasn't the first time she said it, but this time it was sharp. Cold. Final. "I'm trying," I whispered, my voice cracking. "I know things are hard now, but I'm saving up. I'm working overtime. I'm doing everything I can. Mia, I love you." She laughed, a small, bitter laugh that still haunts me. "Love doesn't pay rent," she said. I felt something inside me break. It wasn't loud. It didn't shatter. It just cracked quietly, like a bone snapping under skin. I stepped closer, desperate. Mia, please. Tell me what's wrong. We can fix this. Just talk to me. But Victor, yes, that was his name, finally spoke. You heard her, he said, voice calm and cold. She's done with you. He didn't shout or threaten. He didn't need to. His presence alone felt like a wall between us. Mia glanced at him with something I never saw in her eyes when she looked at me, admiration, maybe even hunger. It hurt more than anything. She wasn't just choosing him. She was glad she was choosing him. Mia, I whispered again, barely able to breathe. Don't do this. Don't just leave us behind. There is no us, she said. Not anymore. Her words hit harder than a punch. They didn't just break me, they emptied me. I felt hollow, like someone scooped out everything inside me and left me standing there with nothing but the shell of who I used to be. I reached for her hand like a reflex, but she pulled it away fast, like my touch disgusted her. I can't believe you thought this could work, she said. Look at you. You're always tired, always broke, always stressed. I don't want this life. Her voice turned ice cold. I deserve better. I felt my knees weaken. My heart pounded so hard it hurt. I grabbed the edge of the bench beside me just to stay standing. But I'm doing everything for us, I said, my voice breaking. Everything. She didn't care. Victor opened his car door and nodded at her. Let's go. Mia didn't even look at me again. She walked to his car, her heels clicking on the pavement like they were stepping on the last pieces of my heart. She opened the door and slid inside like she'd been doing it for months. He got in, started the engine, and they drove away. Just like that. No goodbye. No second thought. No, I'm sorry. I stood there staring at the street long after they disappeared. My legs finally gave out and I dropped onto the cold pavement. My hands shook. My chest felt tight. I couldn't breathe. I pressed my palms against my face, trying to hold myself together, but the tears came anyway. I cried quietly at first. Then harder. I felt pathetic and weak, like a man who lost everything in one instant. I kept replaying her voice in my head. I deserve better. I'm leaving you. Love doesn't pay rent. For a long time, I sat there in the cold, letting the weight of everything crush me. I didn't care who saw me. I didn't care about anything at all. The world kept moving, cars passed, people walked by, but I felt stuck, frozen in the moment she left. I felt worthless. Abandoned. Not enough. I don't know how long I stayed there, but eventually I forced myself to stand. My legs were trembling. My face was wet. My heart felt like it had been ripped open. And the worst part? Despite everything she said, despite the way she humiliated me, despite the fact that she left me for another man, I still loved her. I wish I didn't. I wish I could say I was angry or numb. But no, I just felt broken. That was the day everything changed. That was the day I lost the woman I thought I would marry. That was the day Mia left me standing alone in the cold, with nothing but my pain. But life is strange. Because that was also the day something began inside me. A spark. A shift. A quiet fire. I didn't know it then, but losing her would become the start of everything I was meant to become. I woke up to silence. The apartment smelled like old coffee and regret. I hadn't touched breakfast, hadn't touched anything, really. My phone buzzed, it was Daniel. Again. I ignored it. Later, Mr. Harris called me into the shop office. "Hey, you've been late a lot," he said, folding his hands. His voice wasn't angry, but I could hear concern. "Is everything okay?" "Fine," I muttered, looking down at my boots. "Don't lie to me." "I've known you for years," he said. "You're not yourself." I said I'm fine. My voice sounded hollow even to me. He sighed, rubbing his forehead. "Look, I get it, breakups are tough. But you can't keep shutting yourself in. You're better than this." "I don't feel better," I snapped, more harshly than I intended. She left. That's it. That's the truth. Nothing I do will fix that. He paused, his eyes softening. Sometimes, it's not about fixing it. It's about surviving it. I've been there. You'll get through this. I wanted to argue, to tell him he didn't understand, but he was right. He had lost someone before. I swallowed the lump in my throat and left. Back home, the silence hit harder than ever. I paced the small apartment, muttering to myself. Why wasn't I enough? Was I not good enough? I whispered into the empty room. Daniel called again. I let it ring. Eventually, he texted, "Stop torturing yourself. Come outside. Walk with me." I didn't answer. I didn't want to talk. Talking felt like admitting weakness. That night, I couldn't sleep. I sat by the window, staring at the rain sliding down the glass. I imagined her with Victor, laughing, smiling, like I'd never existed. My chest tightened. A knock on the door broke my trance. It was Daniel, soaking wet from the rain. "I'm not leaving until you come out," he said, arms crossed. "You can't sit here and rot." "I don't want to see anyone," I said, my voice shaky. "You don't get a choice," he said. "Come on. Just for a while." I grabbed my jacket, still trembling, and followed him into the storm. Rain soaked my hair, my clothes, my skin, but I didn't care. Why do I feel like I'm dying inside? I muttered. Because you are, Daniel said, honestly. Your heart's in pieces. That's normal. But you can't stay here. You'll drown in it if you do. I kicked a puddle. Water splashed my shoes. She left me, Daniel. She walked away. She didn't care what I felt. She just left. Like I was nothing. Daniel stopped walking and faced me. Listen, man. She made her choice. That's on her. Not you. You gave everything. You loved her. You were enough. And if she couldn't see that, it's her loss, not yours. I shook my head, staring at the wet pavement. It doesn't feel like that. It feels like I'm worthless. You're not worthless, he said. I know it hurts now. It's supposed to. But you've got people who care about you. Who actually see your value. I'm one of them. I feel so empty, I admitted, voice breaking. Like I'm just fading away. I can't eat, I can't sleep. I keep replaying her words, her laugh, the way she said I didn't deserve her. It's like poison in my head. Daniel put a hand on my shoulder. Then let it out. Curse her, scream, cry. Whatever you need. Just don't let it destroy you completely. We walked in silence for a while. Rain plastered our clothes to our skin. My heart ached with every drop that fell. I hate her, I whispered finally. I hate her for walking away. I hate her for making me feel like I didn't matter. You don't really hate her, Daniel said quietly. You hate the betrayal, the pain. That's different. You'll figure it out eventually. But for now, let yourself feel. Let it hurt. I laughed bitterly. Feel? I've been feeling. Every second. And it's killing me. You're alive, he said. That means you're still fighting. Pain is proof you're human. Don't forget that. Later, we ended up under a streetlight, rain dripping off the edges of the sign above us. I felt my knees buckle a little. I can't get her out of my head, I admitted. Every little thing reminds me of her. The shop, the coffee I spilled this morning, even this rain. It's all her. You'll get through it, Daniel said. I promise. But not today. Today, you let yourself feel it. Cry if you need. Yell if you need. Punch a wall if you need. Just don't stop living. I wanted to punch the wall. I wanted to scream until my voice disappeared. I wanted to run, hide, disappear from the world completely. Why did she leave me? I asked the rain. Why wasn't I enough? Daniel stayed quiet. He didn't answer. Some questions have no answer. I let the emptiness fill me, pressing down, heavy, suffocating. Hours passed, though it felt like minutes. My hands were cold, my jacket drenched. I kept walking. The city lights reflected off puddles. People passed without seeing me. Alone, even in the crowd. I thought about Victor. The rich guy she left me for. Flashy car. Expensive watch. Smug smile. I wanted to punch him. I wanted to tell him he'd never understand what love really is. But I stayed silent. Anger felt weak compared to this ache. By the time we got back to my apartment, I felt hollow. Mr. Harris's words echoed, "Survive it." I didn't feel like surviving. I felt like sinking. Daniel clapped me on the back. Tomorrow, you get up. You work. You eat. You breathe. Small steps. That's all you can do. I nodded. Couldn't speak. My voice was gone, stolen by grief. Once he left, I collapsed on the couch, rain still dripping from my hair. I stared at the ceiling. Tried to sleep. Tried to eat. Tried to exist. But nothing worked. My stomach churned at the thought of breakfast. My eyes burned from exhaustion. Every sound reminded me she wasn't there. Every shadow whispered her name. I wanted to call her. I wanted to beg. I wanted to tell her she didn't know what she lost. But I didn't. I couldn't. Pride and shame battled inside me. Instead, I whispered to the empty room, why wasn't I enough? Why wasn't I good enough? The city outside kept moving, oblivious. Cars splashed through puddles. People laughed, argued, kissed. And I stayed there, frozen, drowning in the dark, my own mind the worst storm of all. By dawn, I had walked every corner of my apartment 3 times, staring at walls, staring at the ceiling. My phone buzzed again. Another message from Daniel, "You're still alive." That's enough for now. I stared at it. Numb. A faint smile almost formed, but it died in my throat. I went to the window again, watched the rain fall. Felt my heart ache. Felt emptiness pressing in from every angle. And still, somehow, I survived. Somehow, I was still breathing. Somehow, I was still me. The storm outside mirrored the storm inside. And I had nowhere to run. I sank to the floor, arms wrapped around my knees, staring at the raindrops sliding down the glass, and whispered, I just want it to stop. I just want it to stop. I was scrolling through my phone, staring at nothing, when Mr. Harris knocked on the repair shop door. Hey, got a minute? He asked, holding a manila envelope in one hand. I frowned. For me? He nodded. Yeah. Came by special delivery. From someone, well, someone you might remember helping a long time ago. I raised an eyebrow. From who? Sit down, he said. It's better if you read it yourself. I took the envelope reluctantly, peeling it open. Inside was a folded letter, written in careful cursive. My hands trembled as I unfolded it. To the young man who showed kindness when no one else would, I may not have thanked you properly at the time, but your actions changed my life. I want to repay you in the only way I can. My estate, my company, it is yours. Use it wisely. Charles Whitman. I blinked. Mine? This can't be real. Wait. Mr. Harris, this has to be a mistake, I stammered. I never. I mean, I helped him once, but he's dead now. Yes, Mr. Harris said. He's passed. But the lawyers confirmed it. Everything is legally yours. I didn't believe it at first either. I sank into the chair. My head was spinning. I don't understand. Why me? I just fixed his car that one time. He said you showed him more kindness than anyone else ever did. He trusted you. I laughed nervously. I didn't even think about it. I just helped him. Why would he leave me his company? His whole life? Because you deserved it, Mr. Harris said softly. And sometimes, people see our value before we do ourselves. I rubbed my face. My apartment, my life, everything felt like it had been nothing compared to this sudden avalanche. I don't even know what to do with this. You'll figure it out, he said. But first, take a moment. Let it sink in. I read the letter again, this time more carefully. Use it wisely, my stomach turned, my chest tight. This was more than money. More than cars, more than property. This was a chance, a real one, to leave the pain behind, to start again. Do I call the lawyers? I asked, my voice barely a whisper. Yes. I can set it up, Mr. Harris said. But I wanted you to feel it first. Really feel it. You've been through a lot. I don't feel anything yet, I admitted. I just feel stunned. Like someone dropped me in a dream I don't understand. That's normal, he said. Now, take a deep breath. You're about to step into a world you've never imagined. I stood and paced. My mind was racing, buzzing. Victor, Mia, none of it mattered now. I had power I never dreamed of. But it felt wrong. Unbelievable. Mr. Harris, I said after a pause. I don't know if I'm ready for all this. You'll never be fully ready, he said. But you're capable. You've survived more heartbreak than most people face in a lifetime. This is just another challenge. I laughed bitterly. Challenge? You mean responsibility? Stress. Pressure. Running a company. Managing people I don't know. And you'll handle it, he said. Better than anyone else. I looked down at the letter again. Use it wisely. I could feel my chest tighten with the weight of that responsibility. But underneath, there was a flicker of hope. Something I hadn't felt in weeks. Later, I met with Daniel. I told him everything on a call. You're joking, he said at first, disbelief heavy in his voice. You? A company? Wait, are you serious? I'm serious, I said. I have the papers, the lawyers, it's all real. I don't know what to do. Man, this is insane, he said. You're going to be rich. Like, really rich. Like, mansion, cars, everything. I laughed, but it felt hollow. Yeah, but it's not just that. It's a chance to. I don't know, rebuild. Start over. Be someone else. Daniel paused. You deserve it, though. You really do. After everything, she left you, and now this? Life is weird. I slumped into the couch. Weird is one word for it. I still feel broken. But maybe this is the first step out of it. First step? Dude, this is like a rocket launch, Daniel said. You're about to leave the atmosphere of your old life. Are you ready? I didn't answer. Could I be ready? Could I survive this sudden shift? I wanted to feel fear, but all I felt was numbness. The next day, Mr. Harris introduced me to the legal team. I sat in a sterile office, papers in front of me, feeling like I was watching someone else sign their life away. Do you understand what you're signing? The lawyer asked. Yes, I said, my voice steady, though my hands shook. This gives you complete control over the estate, the company, all assets, he explained. You'll inherit responsibilities, debts, obligations. Are you prepared? I swallowed hard. I think I am. I have to be. Good, he said, smiling. We'll process this immediately. As I walked out, the weight of it hit me. My life would never be the same. I could feel the ghost of Mia's betrayal behind me, but it didn't matter. Victor wouldn't matter. Nothing mattered except this new path, this chance to rise. Daniel called again. So, when do we start planning your empire? I need a minute, I said. I need to breathe, process it. But soon, we take over. You got it, man. Step 1, don't freak out. I laughed again. This time it was a little more real. A little more like me. That night, I sat alone in my apartment, staring at the letter. I traced the words with my finger. Use it wisely. I whispered to myself, I will. I'll use it, and I'll never look back. Sleep came reluctantly. For the first time in weeks, it was lighter, less haunted. The thought of Mia didn't sting as sharply. Victor's smug face faded from my imagination. For the first time, I could see a future beyond heartbreak. Over the next few days, I started learning about the company. Mr. Harris guided me, introducing me to managers, departments, and procedures. I was a stranger in a new world. But with every meeting, I felt a spark of control, power, possibility. One afternoon, Evelyn joined us. She was poised, calm, her eyes sharp like a hawk's. You're Mr. Whitman's heir, she said, holding a tablet with reports. I'll help you navigate this. You need guidance. I appreciate it, I said. I don't know what I'm doing. Then learn, she said simply. Step by step. You've got potential, but potential alone won't save you. Knowledge will. I nodded, listening, absorbing. For once, my broken heart didn't matter. Only what I could do mattered. Daniel called later. So, future billionaire, how's it feel? Strange, I admitted. Like my life's been flipped upside down. And I'm supposed to walk on a tightrope over a storm. Exactly, he said. But you've survived storms before, man. This one's just fancier. I laughed softly. Yeah, fancier. That night, I stayed in the apartment, looking at the city lights. I imagined stepping into this new world fully, leaving the old one behind. Mia's voice echoed in my head, sharp and cold. "You're not enough." I clenched my fists. That wasn't true anymore. I had a second chance. I had the power to rebuild myself, to rise above the pain. And I would. I whispered into the darkness, "I'll show them all. I'll show her." Not out of revenge, but to prove to myself I can survive anything. For the first time in months, I felt a flicker of hope. A small, fragile flame, but it was mine. I held the letter close, staring at the ink. Charles Whitman had changed my life. And now, I would change it myself. The city outside pulsed with life. I was alive. I had a chance. And for the first time, I believed I could step out of the shadow of heartbreak. Somewhere, in the distance, the lights glinted off the wet streets. I imagined Victor and Mia, oblivious to the shift in my fate. I didn't feel anger yet, only determination. I whispered again, softly, to myself, "This is my life now. Mine. And I won't waste it." And with that, I finally closed my eyes, letting exhaustion take me, letting the promise of tomorrow feel like a lifeline instead of a threat. I woke up that morning and for the first time in weeks, I felt awake. Not just breathing, not just existing, awake. The letter from Charles Whitman sat on my desk like a silent command. Use it wisely. I rubbed my eyes, reached for my phone, and saw a message from Daniel, ready for round one of world domination. I rolled my eyes, but I typed back, "Let's start small. I need guidance, not a miracle." A knock at the door announced Mr. Harris. "Good morning," he said, smiling. "You ready to meet Evelyn?" I swallowed hard. "Yeah. I think so." She walked in, calm, precise, every movement controlled. "Mr. Whitman," she said. "I'm Evelyn. I'll help you navigate your new responsibilities." I nodded. "Thanks. I really need this." "Good," she said. "First, we assess where you stand. Financials, staff, operations. Then we set goals." "Goals?" I asked, frowning. "I don't even know how to run a company." "You'll learn," she said simply. "You survived heartbreak. You'll survive this. Now, let's get started." Hours passed. I stared at spreadsheets, budgets, emails I didn't understand. My head hurt, my fingers cramped, but I didn't stop. Daniel called at lunchtime. "How's your empire?" he joked. I sighed. "Overwhelming. I feel like I'm drowning in numbers." "Good," he said. "That means you care. If you don't care, it's pointless." I laughed, a real laugh this time. "You're ridiculous. You know that?" "You love it," he said. By evening, Evelyn and I had made a plan. She was patient but firm, correcting every assumption I made, teaching me what I didn't know. "You have potential," she said. "But potential without discipline is wasted. You need focus." I can focus," I said. "I have to. I can't fail." "Good. Then you'll rise faster than most expect." I thought about Mia. Her face flashed briefly in my mind. The girl who walked away without a second thought. The one who laughed at me, believing she had one. I clenched my fists. This wasn't for revenge, no. It was for me. To prove I could survive. To prove I could rise. Daniel texted again, "You're already changing." I can see it. I typed back, I feel it too. Strange, but good. The next few days were brutal. Meetings, calls, numbers, planning, decisions. I was exhausted but exhilarated. Every decision I made, every mistake corrected, gave me a sense of power I hadn't felt in months. One evening, Evelyn looked at me after a long session. "You're learning fast," she said. "Most new heirs take months to grasp this. You're taking it in stride." I shrugged. "I've had practice surviving disasters." She smiled faintly. "True. But this isn't disaster. This is opportunity. Treat it as such." I nodded. Opportunity, yeah. I like that. Daniel visited that night. He walked into my apartment and froze, staring at the sleek plans and charts spread across my desk. "Wow," he said. "You actually look powerful." "I feel powerful," I admitted. "Like I'm not the same guy who cried in the rain 2 weeks ago." "You're not," he said, grinning. "You're the guy who's about to take over a company and probably the world." I laughed, a little bitter, a little excited. "Don't exaggerate." "Not yet." "Maybe," he said. "But you've got the drive. I can see it in your eyes. That fire, it wasn't there before. She left, and somehow, it made you unstoppable." I frowned. "I don't think about her much anymore." "Not really." "But yeah. I guess part of me wants to prove I'm not weak." "Good," Daniel said. "That's healthy. Use it. Not to hurt anyone, but to rise. Focus on yourself. You owe yourself that much." I nodded. He was right. This wasn't about revenge. It was about me, my life, my future. The weeks that followed were grueling. I learned how to delegate, how to make decisions without second-guessing myself, how to speak confidently to staff who once intimidated me. Every day I felt stronger, sharper, more capable. One afternoon, Evelyn pulled me aside. "You need to understand something," she said. "People will underestimate you. They'll think you're just a kid who got lucky. Don't let them. Show them competence, confidence, consistency. That's how you rise." "I can do that," I said, determination brimming. "I have to." "Good," she said, smiling faintly. "And remember, emotional control is key. Your past, your heartbreak, don't let it dictate your present." I clenched my jaw. I wouldn't. I wouldn't let Mia or Victor control me anymore. I wouldn't let pain weaken me. I would rise, step by step, day by day. Later, Daniel and I met at a cafe to celebrate a small victory, my first profitable week in the company. "Look at you," he said, sipping his coffee. "The broken boy from a few weeks ago is gone." "I'm still here," I said. "Just different. Stronger. Focused." "You're like a different person," he said. "It's amazing. And honestly, a little scary." "Scary?" I laughed. "Don't flatter me too much. I still make mistakes." "You're learning from them," he said. "That's what counts." I thought about how far I'd come in such a short time. 2 weeks ago, I couldn't eat. Couldn't sleep. Couldn't think straight. Now, I was running a company, making decisions, growing stronger by the day. Daniel leaned back. "You know, Mia won't even recognize you if she saw you now." I felt a brief flash of anger, then let it go. "I don't care. That's not my goal. My goal is me. My life. My future. Good, he said. That's the right answer. And it suits you. By the time I returned to my apartment that night, I felt a strange mix of exhaustion and exhilaration. I sat at the desk, looking at my plans and notes. The empire I inherited was mine to shape. My decisions mattered. My actions mattered. I whispered to myself, I'm not the same boy who begged for love and fell apart. I'm rising. And no one saw it coming. I stared at the city skyline through the window. The lights glittered like stars fallen to earth. I imagined Mia and Victor somewhere out there, oblivious to the transformation I was undergoing. Not out of spite, not out of revenge, but because I didn't need them anymore. I was enough. I was stronger than I had ever been. Evelyn's words echoed in my mind: competence, confidence, consistency. I would remember them. Every day. Every action. Every choice I made from now on would build me. I finally lay down on my couch, exhaustion pressing against me like a heavy weight. But it was different from before. Before, exhaustion meant despair. Now, it meant progress. Growth. Survival. I closed my eyes and whispered, I will rise. And no one will see it coming. I had just returned from a long meeting with the company's finance team when my phone buzzed. It was a message from Daniel. Check this out. You might enjoy it. I opened it and froze. There they were, Amia and Victor, sitting at an outdoor cafe, their smiles forced, the tension obvious even in a photo. I leaned back in my chair. So, their perfect little life isn't so perfect, huh? I muttered to myself. Daniel called immediately. See it? I see it, I said. It's kind of satisfying. Kind of, he asked. Come on, man. Look at them. She looks annoyed. He looks stressed. Karma's already starting to play its hand. I shook my head. I don't want to enjoy this. Not really. But it's hard not to notice. You're doing the right thing. Focus on yourself. But I won't lie, it's amusing. The next few days, I kept hearing rumors from friends who still had mutual connections with Mia. Their relationship was tense. Victor had been making risky investments, and Mia was complaining publicly about his behavior. I felt a strange mix of satisfaction and pity. They're unraveling, I whispered one evening to Daniel over coffee. Finally, he said, taking a sip. They thought life would be easy with money, no effort, no consequences. I guess some lessons take time, I said. But seeing it happen, it's strange. I don't feel joy, just relief, maybe. A week later, I ran into them by accident at the grocery store. I stayed in the car, watching. Victor argued loudly about something, money, a failed deal, I wasn't sure. Mia tried to calm him, her face tight, her smile gone. I could see it in her eyes when she glanced my way. Shock. Recognition. And maybe a flicker of regret. I leaned back in the seat. Interesting, I whispered. She didn't expect this. Daniel texted me immediately, are you watching the fireworks? I laughed softly. More like observing a slow implosion. The next day, I had a meeting with Evelyn about expanding operations. My phone buzzed again. Another photo of Mia, this time looking distraught, standing outside a high-end restaurant while Victor stormed off. She's miserable, I said aloud. And it has nothing to do with me. Everything they built is crumbling on its own. Exactly, Daniel replied over the call. That's the beauty of karma. Natural, slow, inevitable. I exhaled, shaking my head. It's surreal. I don't want revenge. They're facing the consequences of their choices. Daniel laughed. You've changed, man. 2 months ago, you'd have been plotting revenge, texting her cruel things. Now, you're just watching. Focus, I said. Focus on me. On the company. On what I'm building. Evelyn interrupted my thoughts the next morning. We need to make strategic hires. Expansion is on the horizon, and you need people you can trust. Right, I said, jotting down notes. I want Daniel to help with recruitment. Someone I can rely on. Good, she said. Also, your emotional control is improving. That clarity will make you a better leader. Keep it. I nodded, thinking about Mia again. Funny how her absence had pushed me to this clarity, this drive. I didn't want to dwell on it, but I couldn't ignore the spark it gave me. Later, Daniel and I met for lunch. You know, he said, if she saw you now, stepping out of that office, confident, in control, she'd crumble. I know, I said, calm. But that's not the point. I don't need her approval or attention. She's a footnote now. Footnote or not, he said with a grin, she's realizing what she lost. Slowly, painfully. And that's satisfying. I shook my head. Satisfying, in a quiet, distant way. I don't gloat. I just observe. The following week, I was invited to a business networking event. As I stepped out of my car, I noticed her in the crowd. Mia, in a designer dress, hair perfect, but her eyes scanned the room nervously. Victor was nowhere in sight. My heart skipped a beat, not with longing, but with curiosity. Daniel leaned over. She's looking for him, isn't she? Maybe, I said. Maybe she's realizing things aren't what she thought. She didn't see me at first. When she finally did, her mouth opened, then closed, then opened again. Recognition, shock, maybe fear. I kept walking, confident, shoulders back, head high. Every step was deliberate. I wanted her to see me, the man I had become, without me needing to say a word. Later, Daniel whispered, "You're enjoying this more than you admit." "I'm noticing it," I said. "It's strange. I feel calm, strong, alive. And she's realizing she doesn't control me anymore." By the next day, reports came in. Victor's company was failing, bad investments, angry clients, mismanaged funds. Mia had started complaining publicly. Gossip spread like wildfire. I leaned back in my office chair. They built a facade. And now it's cracking. Daniel called. "Are you going to gloat?" I said I don't gloat, I replied. But I do acknowledge the pattern. Their choices are catching up with them. "You're practically zen about it," he said. "It's impressive." I laughed softly. Zen? Maybe. Or maybe I've finally learned that controlling myself is better than trying to control them. That night, I walked past a cafe and saw Mia inside, talking quietly to someone. She glanced outside, and our eyes met for a split second. I could see her panic, that realization hitting her. I whispered to myself, "It's not me. It's her choices catching up. She's learning what it feels like to lose." Daniel texted, "She's looking at you, notice the difference?" "That's all you." I smiled faintly. Not all me. Just resilience. Strength. Survival. Over the following days, I continued my work with Evelyn. Every decision I made strengthened my position, every success built my confidence. And through it all, I couldn't help but observe Mia and Victor. Their facade continued to crumble. Arguments, missed payments, frustration, it was all there. I never interfered, never commented. I just watched, detached, calm, focused. One evening, I met Daniel at a rooftop bar. The city lights sparkled below, a mirror of my own ascent. "They're falling apart," he said. "You must feel vindicated?" "No," I said. "I feel alive. Free. And it's strange, but satisfying in a quiet way. I don't wish them harm. They just chose poorly." He nodded. "Exactly. It's karma, pure and simple." I looked out over the skyline. "I've changed," I admitted. "The pain, the heartbreak, it made me stronger. And now I'm something else. Something they'll never touch. Something they can't control," Daniel said. "Exactly," I said. "And it feels incredible." Later that night, I sat in my mansion office, staring at the city below. Mia's face appeared in my mind, but not with longing. With clarity. She had walked away. Victor had faltered. Their perfect world was cracking. I whispered to myself, I survived. I rose. And I'm stronger than I've ever been. Daniel called before I went to bed. "Tomorrow, we plan the next phase. Expansion, acquisitions, you're unstoppable." "I know," I said. "And this time, I'm in control. Completely." I closed my eyes, feeling the weight of power, of freedom, of a life rebuilt. Mia and Victor's downfall wasn't my doing. It was natural. I didn't need to act. I just had to rise and watch the world catch up. For the first time in months, I smiled, not at revenge, not at gloating, but at the strength I had found. My life, my rules, my rise. And somewhere in the distance, I knew Mia saw me too. I was sitting in my mansion office, reviewing quarterly reports, when the knock came. "Mia," I muttered under my breath, standing. My stomach tightened in a way it hadn't in months. She stood there, soaked from the rain, hair messy, eyes red. She looked fragile. And I felt nothing. I need to talk to you," she said, voice trembling. I folded my arms. "You need to talk, or I need to hear you beg?" Her lips quivered. I made a mistake. I left you. I shouldn't have." I raised an eyebrow. "You shouldn't have left me? That's the apology?" Her hands shook. "I know I hurt you. I just..." "You just what? Chose money over me?" I asked, my voice steady. "Is that what you're trying to say?" Her eyes welled up. I thought I needed security. I didn't realize what I had with you." "You didn't realize what you had with me?" I repeated, voice rising slightly. "You walked away like I was nothing." "I was stupid," she yelled. "I didn't think." "I didn't." "You didn't think," I interrupted, my chest tight. "You didn't care. You didn't love me. You chose him. Victor. And for what? Money? Status?" She bit her lip. I made a mistake. I know that now." I shook my head. "Mistake? That's what you call destroying someone's heart?" She fell to her knees. "Please, just hear me out. I'm sorry. I can't stop thinking about you. I need you. I took a step back. Stop. Just stop. Do you have any idea what it felt like? To watch you walk away, laugh with him, like I never existed? Do you have any idea? I do now, she said, tears streaming. Every day. I wake up, and I see what I lost. I see you. And it kills me. I crossed my arms. It should. You should feel every bit of it. But I'm not going to let you in. Not anymore. Her voice broke. Please. I made a huge mistake. I can change. I can. I'll do anything. Just. Anything? I asked, my tone sharp. Do you know what I would have needed? Loyalty. Respect. Love. Things you can't just decide to give now. I know. But I want to. I can't live without you, she pleaded. I already live without you, I said calmly. And I've never been stronger. I've never been happier, in control. And you? You're seeing what it feels like to lose me. She collapsed onto the floor, sobbing. I was so blind. I was so stupid. I. Stop, I said, softer this time. Not pity, just clarity. I can't fix you. I can't rescue you from the consequences of your choices. I can only protect myself. And that's exactly what I'm doing. She lifted her face. Her eyes were pleading. Please, just give me one chance. One moment to prove I love you. I shook my head. No. You don't get chances anymore. You had your moment. You blew it. Permanently. Her hands reached for me. Just, please. I can't. I stepped back. You cannot control me. You left. You chose. You lost. And now you're facing it. Tears ran down her cheeks. Victor, he's failing. Everything I thought I wanted, it's gone. And I see now. I should have seen. I should have. You should have loved me, I said. And maybe if you had, you wouldn't be crying on my doorstep begging. But you didn't. So you're learning. Slowly. Painfully. And that's the only lesson you deserve. She dropped her hands. She slumped against the doorframe, gasping, sobbing. I see now. I see everything. I was so blind. I didn't know what love was. Not real love. Then learn it, I said. Alone. Don't drag me back into the mess you created. I can't just let go, she whispered. Then you'll suffer, I said softly, calmly. That's your choice. Not mine. I've made mine. I walk forward. Alone. Strong. Free. She buried her face in her hands. I understand. I see now. I'm sorry. Forever. I didn't say anything. I just stepped back, letting her see me, letting her see what she had lost. The man she thought she could control, the man she left, the man who survived. Go, I said finally. Before I change my mind and lock this door permanently. She nodded slowly. She didn't look at me anymore. She turned and ran, rain dripping off her shoulders, tears and water indistinguishable. I watched her go, feeling a strange calm. Relief. Strength. Power. Daniel called later that night. So? Did she finally get it? She did, I said. Not fully, but enough. Enough that she knows she can't touch me ever again. That must feel good, he said. It does, I admitted. But it's not joy. Not exactly. It's freedom. Pure, unshakable freedom. You've changed, he said softly. From the broken boy she left to this. Unstoppable. I had to change, I said. I had to survive. I had to rise. And I did. Alone. For me. Later, I stood on the balcony, looking out at the city. The rain had stopped. Streets gleamed under the streetlights. Somewhere out there, Mia was learning a lesson she could never unlearn. I whispered into the night, you can beg all you want. You can cry, you can regret, it won't matter. I'm not yours to touch anymore. And for the first time in months, I felt lighter. Stronger. Whole. Daniel texted me, she saw you. She finally saw you. And now she's broken. I didn't reply. I didn't need to. I watched the city, thinking of everything I had survived. The heartbreak, the betrayal, the nights I thought I'd drown in my own despair. I survived. I rose. And she finally realized she lost. It wasn't revenge. It wasn't cruelty. It was life. Natural, unforced, undeniable. And I stepped back inside my mansion, closing the door. I was in my office, reviewing expansion plans, when Daniel burst in, grinning like a kid who'd just seen fireworks. Victor's in trouble, he said. Big trouble. You're not gonna believe this. I raised an eyebrow. What happened now? Clients pulled out. Investors bailed. His flashy deals? Collapsing. And Mia, she's panicking publicly. I leaned back in my chair, hands behind my head. Finally. Natural consequences catching up. That's satisfying. Daniel laughed. Satisfying? That's putting it lightly. It's delicious. Daniel, I said, smiling faintly, remember what I said. I don't gloat. I observe. Observe all you want, he said. But this is spectacular. A few days later, news articles started popping up. Victor's company had lost millions. Clients were leaving, partnerships dissolving. And Mia? She was caught in the middle, scrambling to save appearances. I sat back, watching it unfold online. For months, she had believed her life with Victor was untouchable, flawless. Now, cracks appeared everywhere. My phone rang. It was Evelyn. Check your schedule, she said. You've got a media inquiry about a business seminar Victor's company collapsed on. They want your comments. I smirked. Comments? About him? Yes, she said. It's subtle. They want your professional opinion without sounding personal. I typed a short response. Business decisions have consequences. Transparency and responsibility are key. Learning from mistakes is valuable. Daniel called immediately. Huh. That's cold. Perfect. And professional. That's my friend. I shrugged. Professional. Not cruel. Later that evening, I saw Mia's posts on social media. Panic, worry, hints of desperation. She had no idea how exposed she was, how fragile their life had become. I whispered to myself, this is what happens when you choose selfishness. Natural consequences. Nothing I did, just life. The next day, I received a call from an old acquaintance who had mutual connections with Victor. Victor's spiraling, he said. He's making rash moves, losing more money. Mia is begging him to stay calm, but he's impossible. I leaned back, feeling a strange sense of calm. And she's realizing what she lost, I said softly. Yes, my acquaintance replied. She keeps looking over her shoulder, wondering, thinking. I exhaled. Exactly. She's seeing what happens when you walk away from someone who truly cared. Slowly, painfully, naturally. That evening, I met Daniel at the rooftop bar. They're really falling apart, he said, shaking his head. It's like watching a slow-motion train wreck. Observing, I corrected him. Nothing more. Just observing. Daniel laughed. Yeah, sure. Observing. You're thrilled, admit it. I shrugged. I'm relieved. And strong. Free. That's all that matters. Later, I received a call from Mia. I let it ring. She left a message, voice trembling. Please. I need to see you. I can't. I need to apologize. I want to fix things. I paused. My thumb hovered over the screen. Then I pressed delete. I whispered, you can't fix what's gone. You can't undo your choices. The next morning, I saw Victor at a local business conference. His face was tight, strained. He tried to smile, tried to talk deals, but everyone around him was wary. His confidence was gone, replaced by panic and uncertainty. I watched from a distance, sipping coffee. He had believed money made him untouchable. It hadn't. Not one bit. Daniel nudged me. You see it? He's lost. Completely. I see it, I said. And she's watching. Slowly realizing. Later, Mia showed up at the cafe, waiting nervously. I didn't approach. She looked around, desperate for a glimpse of me, hoping, praying. Daniel nudged me again. You're about to witness the aftermath firsthand. I leaned back, calm. She spotted me, froze, then looked down, shame and panic flickering across her face. She whispered to herself, he's everything I lost. Her phone rang. Victor. She answered immediately. Her voice was sharp, pleading, panicked. Victor, calm down. Please, we can fix this. Just listen to me. I stayed seated, silent. She didn't see me. But I saw her unraveling, the way she had the power to beg but no longer the ability to change anything. Daniel whispered, she's realizing she can't control him. And she can't control you either. I know, I said softly. And that's the lesson. Hours later, I returned to my mansion. My phone buzzed. Another message from Daniel, she's crying now. Real tears. The ones that hurt the most. I exhaled, sitting at my desk. Good, I whispered. Not for joy. Not for revenge. But because she's learning. A week passed. Victor's company officially collapsed. Mia's attempts to salvage their life failed. She called, texted, begged. I didn't answer. One afternoon, I saw her in the lobby of a hotel, trying to approach me at a seminar. Security politely turned her away. She caught sight of me leaving with Daniel, confident, in control, and her face fell. Shock. Recognition. Regret. I whispered to myself, finally, you see it. You finally see who I became. And you can't reach me. That night, I reviewed the company's growth plans with Evelyn. My phone buzzed. Another message from Daniel, Mia saw you. She realized. It's over for her. And it's glorious. I smiled faintly. Not glorious. Just deserved. Exactly, Daniel said over the call. Natural consequences. She's learning the hard way. You didn't touch her. She's just facing reality. I leaned back, thinking of all the nights I had cried, all the pain, all the heartbreak. And now, I was here. Strong. Independent. Rising. The following day, I received a call from an investor praising my leadership. Mr. Whitman, your strategies, they're impressive. You've turned your company around faster than expected. I felt a surge of pride. Thank you. It's been a lot of hard work, but it's worth it. Later, I checked social media. Mia posted a picture of herself alone, tears in her eyes, captioned, I lost everything I thought I wanted. I didn't reply. I didn't need to. The lesson was clear. She had seen what it felt like to lose someone who truly loved her, and it was irreversible. Daniel texted, she's broken. Completely. And you didn't do a thing. Beautiful. I smiled faintly. Beautiful, maybe. Deserved, absolutely. Weeks passed. Victor disappeared from the social scene entirely. Mia kept trying to reach out, but every attempt was met with silence. I was unshakable, free, untouchable. One evening, Daniel and I sat on the rooftop. The city lights twinkled like stars below. She's really gone this time, Daniel said. I know, I said. And it's not revenge. Not gloating. Just survival. Rising above the pain. Becoming someone unbreakable. You've come a long way, he said. From the boy she left crying in the rain. To the man she can't touch, I finished. Exactly. And I wouldn't change a thing. I stared at the horizon, thinking about Mia, Victor, and everything they lost. And I whispered, softly, to myself. You chose poorly. And I rose. Strong, free, alive. And nothing can take that away. I was sitting in my study, reviewing contracts, when I heard a knock on the mansion door. Who could that be? I muttered to myself. Daniel leaned back in the chair beside me. Probably some delivery or investor. You're not expecting anyone else, right? I shook my head. No one, except trouble. The door opened slowly. And there she was, Mia. Drenched from the rain again, hair plastered to her face, eyes wide. But this time, it wasn't just panic. There was desperation. Mia, I said calmly, standing. I didn't expect you here. I had to see you, she stammered, voice trembling. I need to explain. I crossed my arms. Explain what? That you chose money over love? That you walked away from me? Or that you're finally realizing the consequences? She flinched. I know I hurt you. More than I can even imagine. But I see now. Everything. I see you, who you've become. I was wrong. Please, just hear me out. I walked closer, but kept my distance. Hear you out? You don't get that luxury anymore. Not after what you did. Tears ran down her cheeks. Please. I can't live without you. I've tried, but nothing feels right. Victor, he's failing. I see everything now. I made a mistake, a huge mistake. I looked her in the eyes, calm, unshaken. You made a choice. And every choice has a consequence. Yours are catching up. She took a step forward. I can fix it. I can be with you. Just give me one chance. One moment. I'll do anything you want. I shook my head slowly. You can't undo the past, Mia. You can't take back the pain, the nights I cried, the heartbreak. You can't buy back what you threw away. You had your chance. You lost it. I see that now, she cried. But please, don't shut me out. Not now. Not when I know what I lost. I am not shutting you out, I said quietly. I shut you out the day you walked away. You lost your chance. Forever. I've built a life. I've risen. And you're standing here begging for something you can't have. Her hands shook as she reached for me. I love you. I can't live without you. Please. I took a step back. And I survived. I lived. I grew. I rose. Alone. Strong. Free. I don't need you. Not your love. Not your approval. Nothing. You're irrelevant to the life I've built. Her face crumpled. Please. I was so blind. I didn't see what I had. I thought I wanted security. Money. Status. Victor, it was never enough. Nothing is enough compared to you. You think that matters? I asked. Do you think your realization changes anything? It doesn't. You can't erase what you did. You can't erase your choices. And I won't let your desperation sway me. I am not the person you left behind. She sank to the floor, sobbing uncontrollably. I see it now. I see everything. I was stupid, cruel, selfish. I knelt down, calm, composed. You are. And that's why you're here. You're finally learning. Slowly, painfully. And there's nothing I need to do. The lesson is yours. Her voice was barely a whisper. Please, just one chance. One chance to make it right. I shook my head slowly. You had one chance. You blew it. There's no redo. There's no do-over. You walk out that door, and you never step back in. Not because I don't care, but because I've grown beyond the girl who begged and laughed at me. I'm stronger now. Untouchable. Alive. And you are not part of this life. She curled up, shaking, sobbing. Victor, I thought he was everything. I didn't see you. You didn't, I said softly. And now you are seeing what it feels like to lose someone you cannot have. To watch them rise while you scramble to hold on to something that doesn't exist anymore. That is your consequence. Her tears soaked her dress. I can't do this without you. You can, I said calmly, standing. You will survive. But you will survive without me. That's the lesson. That's life. You learn it the hard way. Slowly. Painfully. And it will shape you, if you let it. She looked up at me, hope flickering in her red eyes. You're serious? You won't forgive me? I shook my head. Not now. Not ever. Forgiveness is for those who deserve it. You don't. Not yet. Maybe someday. But today? Today, you learn the truth, you lost, and I won. Silently, powerfully, completely. She sobbed again. I see it. I'm so sorry. I raised my hand slightly. Enough words. Actions matter more than apologies. You need to leave. Go rebuild yourself. Learn your lesson. Not from me. From the world. She stumbled to her feet, shaking, defeated. Her hands shook as she adjusted her wet hair. I understand, she whispered. Good, I said. Then go. And never return. Not as a lover. Not as a friend. Not as anything that disrupts this life I've built. She glanced one last time, tears streaming, eyes searching mine for a flicker of the boy she once controlled. There was nothing. Only calm, only strength, only the man I had become. And slowly, she turned and walked out. I closed the door behind her and leaned against it, exhaling deeply. Silence filled the mansion. Relief, power, peace. Daniel, who had been quietly observing from the hallway, stepped forward. You're incredible. Calm, strong, unshakable. I've earned it, I said. Every tear, every heartbreak, every sleepless night, led to this. I survived. I rose. And I will never be that boy again. He nodded. She'll never touch you again. Not now, not ever. You're untouchable. I know, I said softly. And that's enough. I walked back to the study, sitting at my desk, staring at the city lights outside the window. The rain had stopped, leaving a clean, clear night. The lights glimmered like stars, and I felt complete. Whole. Free. Daniel leaned against the doorway. What now? He asked. I smiled faintly. Now. I continue building. Expanding. Rising. Not for revenge, not for spite, for me. For life. For freedom. For strength. For everything I was meant to become. He nodded. And Mia? Her lesson is done, I said calmly. She'll carry it forever. And that's enough for me. I don't need to touch her life. She'll remember. That's all that matters. Daniel grinned. Powerful. I leaned back in my chair, eyes fixed on the horizon. The city was alive below me. My empire, my life, my future, all mine. Strong, confident, untouchable. And somewhere, far away, Mia realized she had lost me forever. Victor crumbled. Their perfect little world shattered. And I was standing above it all, calm, victorious, silent. No words. No gloating. No revenge. Only life, rebuilt from the ashes. I whispered into the night, softly, to no one in particular. You chose poorly. I survived. I rose. And nothing will ever touch me again. The moonlight reflected off the polished floors of the mansion. I stood, walking to the balcony. The city lights twinkled like a universe of possibilities. Freedom. Strength. Victory. Silent, unshakable victory. And finally, I felt whole.